Raw Talk is opinion-based, and everyone is encouraged to do their own research. What is up, and welcome back into Raw Talk. I am pumped up for this week. Last week was a serious episode about overcoming alcohol, or at least my outlook on alcohol and kind of how I did that. This week I'm going to be talking about the void that is created when you give up a substance. For me, I'm going to dive into particularly painkillers. That was the one where I discovered all this. But before I get started, I have to ask the weekly question, and this week is, where do you find the light? What brings you joy in life? And honestly, everybody's answer to this question might be a little bit different, and that's absolutely fine. One thing that does bring light into my life is holding myself accountable and being responsible for my actions and being honest. Honestly, that brings me a lot of joy and light, even though it's not always the easy thing to do. So before I jump into talking about the void and all the positivity that you could put into the void, I want to talk about the Attack 5 plan and focusing on the 5 and owning up to where I've slipped a little bit and where I'm going to stay consistent. So on the Attack 5, I had working out daily. That was steps, stairs, and swimming. I can improve on the swimming portion. I know I can improve there. I also have overate a couple times, so my portion control hasn't always been 100% dedicated. I just want to come clean on that, and I did make an online purchase, so I slipped there. Look, there was a 50% discount on some stuff I really liked, and I know that's an excuse. I know it's an excuse. I'm owning up to it here. Look, the journey to bettering ourselves is not always a perfectly paved path, as it should not be. We are going to mess up from time to time, and that's okay. So I'm admitting to my faults here. I'm admitting to where I can make a more focused effort and increase improvement. And that's what I want to do on here, is be honest, be vulnerable. I'm going to keep attacking my 5. I'm going to keep focusing on my 5 so I can get to that 185 pounds and continue to build and accumulate wealth. I am a work in progress, and I will continue to progress. Let's do this together. I wanted to admit to that before I jump into this. So now I'm going to get into the void, this dark place. I'm getting off opiates. I was on opiates for like 12 years, making excuses to use it, and then it took me 5 years to get off. I got into all that already. So after I finally got off, after that 5 years, there was like this emptiness. I had mentioned it before. I kind of felt gray. I couldn't see color in the day, and it was just dark. And a mentality that helped me out with this, at least processing it for what it was, is that there was a void that was now in my mind. And what I mean by that is I used to spend money on it. I used to look forward to doing it, planning my week around it, enjoying it when I was on it. You know, like all this emotion and energy was put into using painkillers for me. Right? So once I removed that out of my life, like there was like this big empty void of space mentally that I had, this extra energy that now I needed to fill in. And I want to mention this so hopefully people are aware of, like, you're going to need to fill in this space. And look, drinking jumped into that space, overeating. I've mentioned that kind of stuff before, right? And I've talked about those things. I want to focus more on positivity on this episode and not harping on the negative things, because I get it. It's not an easy journey, and it is difficult. However, if you stick through it and you really dedicate yourself to doing something, then what was difficult then becomes easy. And then for me personally, staying dedicated to this, I then got a joy. This joy after achieving a lot of these goals is immense, but it took me years to get to this point where now I'm feeling this current joy. So I'm going to talk about the void, and bringing light into our lives, because once we're removing negative things, like things that we're abusing, substance abuse, when we remove that out of our life, we are bettering ourselves. And that is something worth celebrating, even if we're having a difficult time with it, even if the day might be gray, right? And we're not seeing the colors of the day. We're still progressing. So we need to celebrate that and recognize that success, because it can become mundane. We're doing it every day. It's not easy. The joy isn't there immediately. And so it's easy to fall back in those beginning days. And look, if you do, if you like fall back on whatever it was, just don't fall back all the way. Have a little slip up, get back up, keep progressing, because you got this. You got this. And I'm still working on myself too. So let's not get any confusion here. I am a work in progress. I don't see a finish line to this, and I have to stay diligent and committed to it constantly. And I might slip. I'll slip for months and eat too much or whatever. It's okay. Well, we can only be the best version of ourselves, okay? And there is no perfect version. So I want to talk about some of the really positive things that I put into this void that really helped me out a lot and that I still focus on today. And these are I'm just throwing this in here to maybe give everybody else ideas on things where they can focus their energy. So one thing was I started walking every single day. When I first started doing this, it was 20 minutes a day. Look, if you can't give yourself 20 minutes out of the entire day, 20 minutes to work on your physical well-being, come on, you're making excuses up for sure. So 20 minutes, I could get a mile in. So I started doing that, I'll say almost every day, 5 to 6 days a week. And that ended up getting really easy. So then I increased that. Now I walk for about an hour a day, and that's around 3 miles. It's great for me. I love it. But another benefit to going on these walks, beyond the physical health benefit, is I'm going into nature. Working out in a gym, that has its benefits. That's all cool. I could get on the treadmill and walk an incline for 3 miles. I can't necessarily do that unless if I go hiking in nature. So there's different benefits to both, and I'm not trying to dog the gym, but there is an added benefit to getting outside to do your physical activity. And when I would go on walks, I would be outside soaking up nature, and there's so many positive attractor fields, and you can learn about attractor fields in a crazy book that is called Power versus Force, The Hidden Detriments of Human Behavior. Again, that's Power versus Force, The Hidden Detriments of Human Behavior. That's kind of like my Bible. Maybe I have a whole episode on that one day. But when you're in nature, you're going to get all these positive attractor fields. And everything gives off attractor fields: a conversation, a smell, a memory, being surrounded by concrete or fake stuff, or by nature. So that was another thing that got filled into my void, was being in nature. So I was being healthier physically, I was being in nature, absorbing it, and I also started being really honest. And that's why I started this episode off the way that I did, because I do want to be extremely honest with myself. I spent a lot of years lying to people when I was doing drugs. I would be nah, I'm not doing this, or I don't know where my money went, or I spent it here. I was lying my ass off, and I was a piece of shit. So I will never revert back to that person. I will remain an honest man, even if I'm embarrassed about it. I need to own up to it. So that's another positive thing that filled in my void. Keeping a clean house, vacuuming a couple times a week, dusting once every week or once every 2 weeks, cleaning the bathroom, maintaining the kitchen, making sure that all my clothes are clean. And when it comes to laundry, and look, I've been guilty of this in the past too. You do your laundry, you take it out of the dryer, and then you put it, you have a clean pile. Why? Just put it away immediately. So that's one thing I've been doing for a couple of years now, is I put my laundry away immediately. Keep a clean house. Respect your stuff, Because here's how I look at like doing laundry and folding it immediately, or putting the dishes away right after I finish eating, or like all this kind of stuff, you know, keeping it tidy. I am showing everything that I have, that I use, that I honor it and respect it by keeping it clean. And this is almost like a tradition to me now. It's like cleaning is almost like a ceremony to me at this point, where I'm like respecting and acknowledging how much I appreciate everything in my life by keeping it clean and tidy. Like, cleaning to me is like a ceremony at this point in my life, I swear. That's another positive thing that went into the void. And so I could keep going down this long list. I could go down a long list of all these amazing things that, you know, began to fill the void. And like, look, the alcohol, I already talked about how I started to remove that. That's not in the void anymore. And neither is like the overeating of jalapeno kettle chips, because those are the and like, if I buy a bag, there's no way I'm just gonna have one bowl. Like, I'm gonna max that bag, so I just don't buy it anymore. So look, it's all good there, but I want to talk about this a little bit more. So when you're in the gray, when there's darkness around, when you're in the void, in the darkness is where you find the light. Okay? Like, and even if it's just a small dim flame at first, let's say it's just a spark of light, like, you have to focus your energy on that, and like really focus on what is bringing light into your life. And we should be asking ourselves these questions, like, you know, what makes me feel good? What makes me feel the most alive? For me, it's motivating. It's like trying to motivate people and keeping myself motivated, holding myself accountable. Your answers might be different, and whatever your answers are, when I just asked that, whatever came to your head immediately, that's where you should be focusing your energy. And this is cliche, but from the spark comes a flame. And we have to build up that flame until this fire becomes a bonfire within us. And like, all of a sudden, that void, that darkness is being filled with this bonfire light. Like, it's bright. But you know what? It could get even bigger than that too. Like, we can just keep building this light up until we are a sun, until we can shine light through the galaxy. And like, our light can be seen for light years away. And that is powerful. That is powerful, and that journey can take years. Maybe it's quick for you. Maybe it takes years. You know, I would be patient with yourself on this journey of self-help, because it's okay to slip a little bit, but you got to get up and keep moving. It's okay to mess up and do the wrong thing, but just be aware of it. Be honest with yourself. Like really hold yourself accountable and call yourself out when you know that you're messing up. Are you acting immediately on things? Are you following your intuition? You using the right affirmations daily to like build yourself up? Or do you still have those negative affirmations like, I'm not good enough, I can't, you know, I blah, blah, blah. Like, get that out of here. Get that out of here. That is the void. That's a little bit about things that I put into the void that were negative, and then mainly positive things I wanted to talk about on this episode that really brings a lot of light into my life. And honestly, like, I still have days where it's not always the best, and that's fine, but the majority of my time now, I really appreciate it, and I am so thankful. Like, it's crazy, like, at this 3-year mark, a little past 3 years of being off opiates, like, how much I am thankful for, and how much it all means. It means so much to me, like, all of this, and being able to like have this clarity, and it's tears of joy right now, because there was a while I didn't think I was gonna make it, you know, and I didn't care about anything, and I can't believe that was me, and I can't believe that I like was putting this Arthur right now. I was putting this Arthur away, like. And that's crazy to me, but that's how it was. And I don't regret that, because now I found strength. I did find the light in the darkness, and it took a long time, but it's so beautiful and it's shining so bright now. And I feel like I'm able to help others with my light that I've harnessed and that I constantly work on it. I'm constantly working on it every day. And one thing that I mentioned last week was like talking about marijuana usage. Like, I was kind of harping on alcohol, and obviously I do not like painkillers or any of that stuff. So why am I giving marijuana a break? So since then, I've been really thinking about that, and I cut out smoking. I am being honest here. I will still have some edibles. I like the slow roll. I'm like a tortoise on land. Like, I like to take things slow, take my time with it. So I'm cutting out smoking it for right now. I don't have a deadline on that. I'm just gonna see how long I go, and I want to be honest about that here. Every single day we can bring light into our lives, and we can focus on this. The void is real. When you give up a substance, you will feel a bit of emptiness, and you're gonna have a responsibility to find ways to fill in that energy that you have. You're gonna have this extra energy, and it's your responsibility to fill in that extra energy with things that are going to be beneficial, to help your life get to the next level. You can do this. I'm still working on it. I've seen levels out of myself, but I'm still climbing, baby. There's still more room up there. Like, where is the ceiling right now? I don't really see it. And so I'm pumped up, and I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to keep focusing on my 5. Let's keep using affirmations, acting immediately on things, and let's get it done. So my question again this week is, where do you find the light? I believe you will find it. What's the next episode? I don't know, but it's going to be a good one. Thank you so much for tuning in to Raw Talk. I love you.